Hello, this is Gene. I've been thinking a couple days about to talk about what I want to talk about. Um, and try to say it without getting upset. But the entire world is so infatuated with Ronda Rousey right now, and I get it. I think she's a great athlete. We can talk. We can talk about. You want to believe that she's the pound, the best pound per pound fighter. Really, I don't want this to. I need to be on focus here. What I'm trying to do is, so I'm not going to talk about her as the athlete. I want to talk about the influence that she could actually have on something important. We've been talking about. We know that her father killed himself, and she gets very emotional about it. She uses it as motivation to defeat her parents or her opponents. So, a couple days before the last UFC event, I started putting stuff out about how she could be. She could be somebody that actually can change something in our society. Um, so I put it out there. A couple of tweets, even some people from Australia, the men's rights people out there retweeted it, and I thought maybe something was going to happen with this. Maybe it would get to her. Maybe she could do something about it. Obviously, she's a celebrity, and I'm just me. But she is in a unique position to, if she said something on TV, said, "Look, I want to go in front of Congress and talk about this issue about male suicide," you know what they would do? They would open up the entire thing for her, and they might actually do something. And it kind of this kind of also talking about Junior Seau. The NFL was worried about what their daughter might say and try to blame the NFL for the person why her father killed himself. And what I don't understand and why the people on sports networks or even the news people won't say, why don't we look at the actual problem here? Yes, there is things that CTI that you get from playing might involved why he killed himself, but there's another thing going on. We have about over 30,000 men in the United States every year are killing themselves, and nobody cares about this. And this is based on these statistics that I looked at. Every day, 105 people kill themselves, and about 80% of them are men. So over the year, that's almost 30,000 people a year. And to me, it is an epidemic, because we hear all the time for our own senators that there's an epidemic of rape on campuses. And they want to put so much money into this, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But when it comes to stuff like male shelters or that type of thing, there's no money for it. And these are people actually killing themselves. And I looked at some of the things, and obviously, of the men who killed themselves in the United States, 80 or 70% of them are what I am, a white man. Now, we also wear the majority at this time, so that I can understand that. But a lot of them are also American Indians, and it was a shocking thing. The Asians are rarely do they kill themselves, and the black men don't do it as much. And then it's the American Indians, and then it's white men. And I can sit there and I can talk for hours and hours about how the society has changed, how we've shamed men their entire life, try to put them into some sort of gender roles, and teaching them since the last 30 years, basically tell them since they were in kindergarten that they were defective. And if you do that long enough, and you say that your only value is to either give me money to provide for me, and if that's not good enough, I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to take your kid and all that stuff, and you're going to be living in a van down by the river. It's not shocking when these guys kill themselves, and nobody wants to talk about it. But I look at Rousey and I say, this is a person, because in our own quote unquote the MRIA area, the most watched person is a woman, Karen Strong. And obviously she doesn't have the celebrity that Rousey has. But if Rousey said, you know what, I'm going to do something about everything. She talks about empowering women all the time, and that's great. You know, I hear this stuff, and people like to think that she could actually beat a man in the ring, which is foolish. She'd get knocked out by everybody in her weight class. But I still like to watch her. And I don't want to get off into when she talks about shit like that. That's just stupid. And when people believe her like that, it's stupid. However, she is in a great position. You know, she puts it out there that, you know, my dad killed himself. Well, maybe you should have the ability. Every year we say that men, especially in the sport world, should be more role models. And she is a role model to young girls. She could do so much more with her notoriety, her celebrity, if she would say, look, we need to look at this, because it is an epidemic. It's not this bullshit that goes on campuses, okay? Now, let me look at, you know, I looked at how many rapes that are reported every year. It's about 90,000 rapes reported a year. And of course, most people say that people don't report them. It's hard to even actually look at it, how many the rapes that have been reported are actually real. They're not just false accusers. So if you just go with the lowest one, where they say 2 to 8% are false, then that brings it down to about 75%, or 75,000 that are reported. Now, I don't know, when it's hard for me, you know, because people would say a lot of people don't rape or don't report rape because the system is so against them, which I don't believe. I think that men and the police department will believe almost anything a woman is going to say until they are so far, their story is so far out there, then people start questioning them. We pretty much in this world, in the United States, we just taken by the world their word. There is no actual rape culture where the society says it's okay to rape, and the institutions don't give a shit about it. So if I just say, I'll say 75% or 75,000 reports are done that are real, let's say. And of course, men don't. I think of the actual people when you talk about rape and not reporting it other men. Men rarely will do it, because there is, when you take it around the other way, there is a rape culture against men. And because people think if we reported it that either we were gay or, and other men will sit there and say, well, I wouldn't do that. I would like her if she raped me. They said that all about Rousey. They're like, yeah, I'd like her to rape me. And the dude of a red pill channel, although I listen to in his content, he talks about rape me. And this is the problem we have with men. We just say that it's okay, that we look at it that way. So men are not going to do it. And that's the reason why we don't really report the domestic violence at the same level. Even though peer research shows that it's reciprocal, about 50-50. So the people out in the MRAs are trying to, you know, find things for males to look to. But these are just a couple of these statistics that I looked through. And I would hope that at some point that Rousey would say, I don't think she's going to fight for the rest of her life. She, you know, but by not saying anything, when you actually have experience of going through that, and maybe by you going up there and saying and crying in front of the Congress, and everybody might do something because you're a woman, might actually be a good thing for the men's rights movement. And so there are 7 agencies that are federally done for women. There are none for men. Research money is doled out 4 times more to women's centric type things in health than they are for men. In the United States, 39 of the 50 states have a women's Office of Women's Health, There's only 6 in the United States. Of all the articles where there's a difference between whether it's a man's thing versus a woman's thing, there are 23 to 1 about women. Although more women die more with breast cancer, 14% more than prostate cancer, they are funded 660 times more than prostate cancer. So I don't know if it's my privilege because I'm a man, or is it? I did read something that the idea that the liberals, when we're talking about taking care of women and stuff like that, they talk about it takes a village. We want to do things, but when they talk about when you're a straight white man, we're supposed to just suck it up. And so I don't know what the purpose of this video is to say that there is a opportunity here. If somebody has the ability that can get into her circle. I mean, I tweeted her agent, I tweeted her, I tweeted all the people, the 4 horsewomen that she's part of. I tweeted at USC, Dinah White, because the guy that's for the USC. We have several guys that are MMA guys that have killed themselves. The question I have to ask, and I don't know this, does the NFL have a mental health program that these guys can talk to somebody? Does the UFC have this stuff? Or is it, fuck it, if it's a man, he can just go off to the side and we don't want him anymore, and based on the whole, we're disposable and that type of thing. Yesterday I got really upset talking about this to my son. I wasn't upset at him, but because every time I bring up stuff like this, and if I say I'm against feminism, then all of a sudden I'm against women and women's rights. And that's kind of like their way to derail the conversation. And they want to blame us, the reason why we kill ourselves because of this, that, and this, and that. And that men don't have the ability to go in and ask for questions or ask for help. Well, tell me where in the United States we're supposed to go there that actually understands dealing with men. Everybody, the entire industry is geared for women. We live in a capitalist society. Women will go in and talk about the problems just to do it. We don't have any, there really is no, I mean, I went to see a movie yesterday and we saw that whole crazy thing about smoking where they have this little creature comes out of it and goes after the kids in the class. So that it shows you twice before the movie even starts. There's nothing that says, hey, if you're feeling down or something like that and you want to talk about it and you're a boy or something like that, here's a place for you. There's nothing like that for men. And when we bring it up, I mean, we get shamed for it. And I don't understand it. That's what really upsets me, is when I'm asking for us to at least have the same level of care, we get dismissed. And I just think that she has an opportunity here to do something bigger than just being a fighter for the rest of her life or going to movies. Great. She has a great smile. She kicks ass against other girls. Good for her. And you know what? I'll keep watching her. I don't pay for any the pay-per-views, but I do watch her. And also the whole thing about seau. I mean, where's the NFL in this? I mean, I've railed about the deflate rate and all that, but they should be like the number one corporation or whatever you want to call them that wants them to look at the male suicides. If this whole total patriarchal society, obviously the government's not patriarchal. I mean, everything is taking care of women. So I guess before I leave, I did see something today about Elizabeth Warren. I guess she said something to Congress about Planned Parenthood. And personally, I find it very offensive to me, based on the science. Um, and if the left is supposed to be about science, we believe in climate change and all that stuff, and we're supposed to be rational. No, we're not. Obviously, on the left, we have so many people that deals with their own different ideologies and based on their emotions and their feelings. And I'm talking to you, Tumblr feminists, and almost all the feminist theory people out there. But we're supposed to fall on with our science. I just don't see any reason why to abort anybody after 13 weeks. And I don't even think, personally, I'm against it. But whatever that Planned Parenthood thing, does anybody, with any common sense, they're there to get money from killing fetuses. All these services are available. I don't understand why we have that. But anyway, what I saw is somebody I somewhat like is Warren, because I'm an old Democrat union type guy, and I believe in the working man and woman. But she's up there doing her full-throated support for Planned Parenthood. And here's something in the comments about if men had to carry a baby, they'd have abortion would be illegal after they were born or some bullshit like that. We have men have no rights when it comes to that baby at all, or the fetus. The woman has all the choices there. There's so much more we can talk about that, and there are parts in the MRA that are trying to, in the MRM, to take care of that. I think that it should be mandatory that when baby is at least the area that you can actually get money and get blood out of her to type it, to see if they're actually the father is actually the father, because women, they never lie. No, 30% in that study said they did. So that's when I look at the statistics for rape. Of course, if I say that, I'm a rape apologist. I do believe that even the reported rapes, I'll say 5% are not real. But I ain't even going to say there. I think women lie about rape a lot to get out of responsibilities for what they did something, there's so many of them out there that you could look it up. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Hopefully somebody will get to Ronda Rousey. It would be so great if she would be there and say, I want to talk about this issue, and I've been informed or enlightened that this is obviously some sort of an epidemic in the Western world, that men need crisis counselors as well as men. And I really didn't talk about the military. I'd have to look at the stats, but I think it's like I'm gonna say, is it 10 every day? Are vets that kill themselves? Active kids too. It's crazy, and they should have that there. I don't understand why they don't. But anyway, that's all I have today. Thanks for watching.